https://www.youtube.com/watch.v RQ2 9LA in a row. You sit down at your desk, press the power button on your laptop, wait for Windows to load, and instead of your normal sign-in screen, you get stopped by a cold blue recovery screen asking for a long security key you have never seen before. Not your password, not your PIN, not your Microsoft account login, a recovery key. And the worst part is, you may have no idea where that key is, why your computer is asking for it, or what changed overnight. For a lot of people, this is the moment panic starts. They have family photos on the computer, work documents, school assignments, business files, tax records, maybe years of personal data sitting on that one machine. And suddenly, Windows is basically saying, prove this computer belongs to you or you are not getting in. Now, to be clear, this feature was not created to hurt you. It was designed to protect your data. If your laptop gets stolen, encryption can stop someone from pulling out your drive and reading your private files. That sounds great. But here's the problem. Many normal users do not even know encryption is turned on. They never remember saving a recovery key. They were never told to print anything. They just bought a laptop, signed in, used it normally, and assumed everything was fine. Until one update, one hardware change, one BIOS setting, or one unexpected Windows security trigger suddenly locks the door. So in this video, I'm going to explain what this recovery screen really means, why it can happen even to regular home users, and most importantly, what you should check today before you ever end up stuck on that screen. Because once you need that key, it is already too late to start looking for it. So what is really happening behind that recovery screen? In simple terms, Windows may be protecting your hard drive with encryption. Encryption means your files are scrambled in a way that makes them unreadable unless the correct security key unlocks them. Your pictures, documents, downloads, browser data, and everything else on the drive are still there, but they are locked behind a digital wall. This is why your normal Windows password may not help. Your password signs you into Windows, but the recovery key unlocks the protected drive itself. That is a very different thing. Now, on many computers, the system works quietly in the background. You turn on your laptop, Windows starts normally, and you never even notice it. That is exactly how it is supposed to work. The security check happens automatically, and as long as nothing unusual changes, your computer lets you in. The problem starts when Windows thinks something important has changed. Maybe there was a BIOS update. Maybe a Windows update changed security settings. Maybe the motherboard settings were reset. Maybe the drive was moved. Maybe secure boot or TPM settings changed. To you, it may look like nothing happened. But to Windows, it can look suspicious enough to say, hold on, before I unlock this drive, I need the recovery key. And that is where people get trapped. But that assumption can be dangerous. This feature is very useful when it protects your laptop from thieves. But it becomes a nightmare when it protects your own files from you. That is why understanding it before there is a problem is so important. The key lesson is simple. Encryption is not bad. Not knowing whether it is enabled and not knowing where your recovery key is the real danger. Here is the part that confuses people the most. A lot of users say, but I never turned on encryption. I never clicked anything called BitLocker. I never asked Windows to protect my drive. And honestly, they may be telling the truth. Modern Windows computers can come with security features already prepared in the background. Some laptops, especially newer ones, are built with security hardware that works with Windows automatically. When you sign in with a Microsoft account during setup, Windows may connect certain protection features to that account. In some cases, the system may enable device encryption without the user clearly understanding what happened. That does not mean every computer is encrypted. It does not mean every Windows home machine will behave the same way. This is why the topic feels so messy. One person checks their laptop and sees encryption. Another person with a similar laptop checks and sees nothing. One user finds their recovery key inside their Microsoft account. Another user signs into the same account and finds no key at all. And that inconsistency is exactly why this is dangerous. Because when a system is confusing, people ignore it. They assume it does not apply to them. They think, I'm not using a business laptop, so I am safe. But then one day, after an update or a repair, the recovery screen appears. The computer is not asking nicely. It is not giving hints. It is asking for one specific key. If that key was saved to your Microsoft account, you may be able to recover quickly. If it was printed, stored on a USB drive, or saved somewhere safe, you are okay. But if it was never backed up, never saved, or saved only on the same locked computer, you have a serious problem. That is why the smartest move is not to wait until something goes wrong. The smartest move is to check your computer while it is still working normally. Now let's talk about what you should actually do while your computer is still working. First, go to your Windows search bar and type BitLocker. If your system has the full BitLocker feature, you may see an option called Manage BitLocker. Open it, and Windows should show you the status of your drives. It may say BitLocker is on, off, suspended, or waiting for activation. If you see that BitLocker is on, do not ignore it. That means your drive is protected, and somewhere there should be a recovery key connected to that protection. Your next job is to make sure you can actually access that key before an emergency happens. But what if you type BitLocker and nothing shows up? That does not always mean you are completely safe. On some Windows Home systems, the feature may appear under a different name, such as device encryption. So the second thing you should search is device encryption. You can also open settings, go into privacy or security-related settings, and look for encryption options there. Another simple thing to check is your drive icon. Open File Explorer, click this PC, and look at your main Windows drive. If there is a small padlock symbol on the drive, that is a strong sign the drive is encrypted or protected. Now, do not panic if you find encryption enabled. Again, encryption itself is not the enemy. It is actually useful security. The real issue is whether you know where the recovery key is. If you're signed in with a Microsoft account, go to your Microsoft account online and check the Devices section. Look for recovery keys connected to your computer. If the key is there, that is good news, but I still would not rely on only one place. Online accounts can be confusing. Devices can be listed under strange names. Sometimes users have more than one Microsoft account and check the wrong one. So after you confirm the key exists, the next step is to save it properly. Once you find out that encryption is enabled, your main goal is simple. Save the recovery key somewhere you can reach, even if the computer will not start. That last part is very important. Do not save the only copy of the key inside the same computer that is protected by encryption. That is like locking your house key inside the house. If the recovery screen appears, you will not be able to open Windows and find the file. A safer option is to save the key to your Microsoft account, but do not stop there. Sign in and confirm it is actually visible. Make sure the device name matches your computer. If you own multiple laptops, do not assume the first key you see is the right one. The second option is to save a copy on a USB flash drive. Label that USB clearly and keep it somewhere safe. Do not leave it plugged into the computer all the time. The whole point is to have access to the key when the machine itself is locked. The third option is old-fashioned, but very effective. Print the recovery key. Yes, it is just a long number on a piece of paper, but in an emergency, that paper could save years of files. Put it in a safe place with other importances. Documents. If you help a parent, student, or small business owner set up a computer, this one step can prevent a disaster later. And while you're doing this, check your backups too, because even with a recovery key, you should never trust one computer with everything important in your life. External drives, cloud storage, or both can protect you from encryption issues, failed drives, theft, and accidental deletion. The goal is not to be scared of Windows security. The goal is to stay ahead of it. A recovery key is only useful before the emergency, not after you realize you never saved it. So here is the simple takeaway. Do not wait until your computer is already asking for a recovery key. At that point, your options become very limited. If the key is not saved somewhere, no repair shop, no clever trick, and no normal Windows password is going to magically unlock that encrypted drive. That sounds harsh, but it is better to know the truth now than learn it after losing important files. So today, while your computer is working normally, take 5 minutes and check 3 things. First, check whether BitLocker or device encryption is enabled. Search for it in Windows settings. Look at your main drive. See if there is any sign of encryption. Second, check your Microsoft account. Make sure your recovery key is actually saved there. Do not just assume it is. Sign in, look under your devices, and confirm it. Third, make a second backup of that recovery key. Save it to a USB drive. Print it, or store it somewhere secure that you can access without needing that computer. And after that, back up your actual files. Because even if encryption never causes a problem, hard drives fail, laptops get stolen, updates go wrong. People accidentally delete things. A good backup is not just for BitLocker problems. It is for every computer problem. The important thing is this. Windows security can protect you, but only if you understand how it works. If you ignore it, the same protection can become the reason you lose access to your own data. So before you close this video, check your computer, check your recovery key. Help someone in your family check theirs too. Because this is one of those problems where a few minutes today can save you from a nightmare tomorrow. And if this helped you, leave a comment and let me know whether your computer had encryption turned on. You might be surprised by what you find.